Well, today is the 1st of October. Exploring a new area today. Look around. Pretty cool, huh? Area I've never been before. Some kind of lake down there. Some people on the canoe and stuff. So, anyway, I decided to just come and take a look around in this joint. It's pretty cool. Lots of nooks and crannies. Look at that. Now you know something's in there. Nature hates a vacuum, so you know something's living in there. Can you see that? Okay. Yeah, I found a couple things like that. Oh, here's another one. Foxes, raccoons, minks, who knows? Rock outcroppings. Pretty interesting. There's the water down there. I think I'll plop myself up here on a rock. Give you a quick look. Pretty nice. I'll actually have to look on the map. In a spot, it's kind of, I don't realize how difficult it is sometimes moving around with your depth perception when you're blind in one eye. So when I'm looking, down there, it's like, okay, I got to be careful where I walk. So, let's see. Let's adjust the color here a little bit. We'll have a little conversation. Let's have a little conversation. Consider I'm in, I'm in kind of my element. No birds at all except for the sound of the geese. Canada geese, a few of them flitting around there, a little bit of wind. I made a video earlier this week. It was another spot I was exploring, and I actually deleted it. And the reason I deleted it was because I was going to title it "How to Discover Bigfoot, Sasquatch for Yourself." How you can discover it for yourself, discover them for yourself. Pretty easy. I found a really good spot, and I was explaining on what to do. And I deleted it because I thought, you know what, I am not going to encourage people to seek them out for their sake, not for our sake, but for their sake. I think it really is that easy to discover it for yourself. It really is, and I got a real simple formula for that. And I wish I could say it was my own, but it was my closest friend's formula that he more or less, kind of introduced me to, and it works. It works. But I decided I can't do that. I can't do that, and this is the reason why. There is so much division within this interest, this community. Maybe what you would call the cryptid community. It's stupid. I don't like to consider myself even a part of it, to be honest with you. Because I don't need to seek knowing what I know about them now. It's more built on a relationship and a friendship that I can find out anything I need to know from them. I know it sounds crazy, but that's really kind of where I'm at with that now. So I can, if I don't, the information I want, I can get directly from the source, so to speak. So I don't have to go out wandering. But I do like to explore new areas that they live in. And this is definitely one of them. I mean, it's just absolutely beautiful. I'm familiar with this area. I've just never been in it, and I've never had the opportunity to come here before. So getting back to this idea of seeking them out, there are unintended consequences for seeking them out, and these unintended consequences you might have heard about from other people. Most notably, the whole concept of what's called being tagged. And it is a real concept. I mean, it really is real. And I don't think most people can deal with that. Most people could not deal with having these beings running around their homes, watching them from the shadows, particularly if you live in a kind of a rural or a semi-rural environment, because it don't matter, they will find you. And there are some unwritten rules, but unlike other people, I'm not fearful. I've heard it said that because of their parentage, so to speak, that they're prone to the dark forces on the spiritual side of things, and it kind of makes me laugh. Why wouldn't they be prone to the good forces on the spiritual side? Now, see, isn't it interesting how we as human beings, we automatically label everything that we don't understand evil? So if we label something as it coming from an undocumented source of what you may possibly think it is, and to those of you who don't kind of understand I'm kind of talking in code, I suppose, and this is about the Sasquatch. It is about their genetic makeup. It is about their heritage, so to speak. I'm not going to say what other people say. There are people going to say that I'm deceived. I'm willing to. I beg to differ that I am. I don't think they are any more prone to satanic forces than we are. And I'm going to tell you why. In my dealings with them, I've heard people say, well, what controls them? What controls them? What stops them from killing us? What stops them from harming us? What stops them? Well, I'm going to tell you what that is. They have a deeper respect and a deeper fear of God, as we would call God. They have a respect and a reverence for him that I think a lot of human beings have lost. And why is that? Because they are connected to him in a different way than we are. So they have no doubts. There's no doubt. There's no, oh, is there a God? Does a God exist? They know he exists. And even though they know he exists, some are willfully rebellious, just like us. Now, as far as, is that what keeps them alive? Yeah, pretty much. Even in the criminal aspect of their society and culture, they seem to have this idea of redemption, that even if you've been a criminal according to their system, that if you behave yourself properly, there's forgiveness. They believe in that. They have this idea of redemption. They really do. I've heard somebody say, well, people that can talk to them, people can speak to them, they ask them if they know who Jesus is. Well, if you went to Native Americans, when you met Native Americans, you think they would have known? But they actually do know who he is. But they have a different name for him. They have a title for him. They have a title for who Christ is. And they call him the man who died for all. Now, what does that mean? Well, it means exactly what it is. They understand that Jesus is the man who died for all. But the question is, did he die for them, or did he just die for humanity? And I'm going to leave you with this thought. Jesus died not just as the savior of humanity, but the redeemer of creation. If you don't believe me, there is a verse that says, all of creation groans and travails, waiting for the revealing of the sons of God. That has to do with Christians. Okay, so all of creation. Before Jesus was Jesus, he was known as the Word, right? The Word was made flesh. The Word was God. The Word was with God. So whatever the origins of the Sabe people or the Sasquatch people, Bigfoot, whatever you want to call it, they are people, and they have a human side to them. They were born of a human mother at one time. At least their very first progenitors were. Now you might want to call them Nephilim. How did they survive? If you're going to believe in that paradigm with a flood and wiping out humanity and everything that was on the earth, how did these guys survive? And there's some thoughts that it was a second in invasion of angelic beings, so to speak. I have a whole different theory and a different take on this than a lot of people. And the reason is, I never hear the so-called crypto community or the experts that go down this line, these biblical pseudo-intellectuals. They reason through these old scriptures that aren't even part of scripture anymore, and come to some reasoning through that. And I understand why they're doing that, but they always lean on the evil side of everything. Have you ever noticed that? Everything's evil. I tend to take that stuff into account, but I also take humanity into account in regards to what we as a species and we as a people have historically done to the things that we don't understand. There are animal species today that are extinct. Modern species of animals that are extinct based on superstition. And that's still going on to this day. I mean, at one time in medieval Europe, they eliminated all the cats because they were viewed as evil. And part of eliminating the cats caused a rat population explosion that helped bring about the plagues that plagued Europe in the 1300s and resulted in 1/3 of the population dying because of human ignorance. So I have a real simple way of looking at things. I look at human history, I look at our basic nature and how we categorize things that we don't understand, and I will always lean on the benefit of the doubt to other things that we don't understand until proven otherwise. Because knowing our nature, the minute we label something as being evil, we persecute it and destroy it. Look, we enslaved people because we thought they were less than human. Modern slavery, meaning not slavery now, but slavery, at least in the United States, or around slavery in the world 200 years ago, we labeled people as being subhuman, not fully human, so they weren't afforded, given the dignity of being human. And because of that, I will always lean on the side of safety, because of that, with these giant hairy people that nobody thinks exists. But I know for a fact if they were proven to exist, it wouldn't go over well with humanity. No one would handle it well. And then you hear about all these stories. Well, the Native Americans said they did this, and the Native Reserve. But you know what? They cherry pick those stories. Out of all the tribes that were in North America, they all have stories and legends about these beings, and not all of them were bad. It just depended on where you were at. And it's no different than us. I mean, in Southeast Asia, we had cannibals. Us. Killing and eating each other. Southeast Asia. We had some of that in Africa too. That's not unheard of. We had cannibal human beings, but why do we forget that? They hunted and killed their enemies, and they ate them. And sometimes they ate them for ceremonial things. Let's look at the Incas, the Aztecs, and the Mayans. They were freaking brutal. They were sacrificing children to Quetzalcoatl, the plumed serpent. And let's go to the Middle East, where it was Baal and Moloch worship, sacrificing children. So let's cool it on these giant hairy forest dwelling beings, and think that we're so much more noble, because we're not. They need to have the benefit of the doubt. So, having said that, is interacting with them a good idea? Well, not for the faint of heart, it's not. But, you know, my problem is I want to know things. I just want to know things. I want to understand something that I don't understand, or I don't like mysteries. And once you've been exposed to something that's not supposed to exist, when you know full well it exists and it's all around you under your nose, you want to know more. And are you willing to take the consequences of knowing that? So for me, I've been wanting to take the consequences. And I've had some. I've had some interesting consequences. So, they haven't really been horrible. And maybe it's because of where I am spiritually. I mean, I'm not fearful of anything that can come after me in the darkness, spiritually otherwise. Now, if you're terrified yeah, or you're afraid that something's going to happen because you're messing around, well, yeah, there are things, but it's not. Let's put it this way. There is a spiritual dimension to them. And when you open that door with them in this realm, other things that are corporeal, that have flesh on them, know that you know about that. And then they are aware that it's possible that they will reveal themselves to you as well. And that is something that people don't want to deal with. Put it that way. Don't look at it purely as a spiritual thing where you have spiritual entities that you can't see swarming around you. What happens is I've come to believe that there's more than us that have flesh. There's more than us that have flesh on it. And once you realize there are more things that are flesh and spirit, it has the possibility to introduce itself to you, and you may not like that. The big guys are one thing, the other things are another thing. I think it is possible to stay in your lane. I really do, because I think I've managed to stay in the lane very easily without any issues. If it ever changes, I'll tell you, but I'm not worried about the big guys killing me, hunting me down, eating me, abducting my nieces or my wife or whatever. I have found them to be inspiring in some aspects. I guess that's the best way to put it. I found them to be inspiring. I found the Sabe people to be inspiring. Not that they are gurus of enlightenment, because they aren't, but they do have a pretty good understanding about relationships and community. And if we could really learn a lot from them in that regards, the value of relationships, community, friendship, honor, dignity, respect. We could learn a lot from them about that. And here's something you need to know too. They are not quick to kill each other like we are. They put it this way. I have a friend of mine that I used to work with. He was a young black man. He went to an engagement party. He got shot at an engagement party. And as he's laying on the ground bleeding out, somebody steals his shoes. He's dying. He's laying on the ground dying. Somebody steals his shoes. The Sabe people are not like that. The Sasquatch are not like that. They are not like that. But we are. And I'm going to leave you with that thought. Really think hard about that. We'll kill each other over a pair of shoes. Or take advantage of somebody dying while they're bleeding out and not get them help. And take their shoes. But these giant hairy people that everybody thinks are evil, they don't do that kind of stuff. Because material things don't mean anything to them. And there's a lot of value in understanding that. Till next time.